परम आदरणीय गीता ताई जी, माया जी, Sushila ji, Geeta Singh ji, and all the delegates who are present in this auditorium, eminent academicians, scientists, scholars, and above all, mother. So I'll start. I do not know how much time I have, and I know you have to go to Vrindavan also. And not all, but there is one mother who can command me, and she has already commanded to wind me up as early as possible. She is sitting right in front of me, and she has already instructed me to wind up as early as possible. So, since I have to live for some more years in the house and want to have regular meal in the house, so I must obey her instructions, and I'll wind up as early as possible. To start with, what Mayaji said and why I am standing on this podium has a very interesting incident. I was Vice Chancellor, and one of my friend who happens to be a Dean in Kolkata University, one morning, fine morning, she called me up and said, Dr. Joshi, do you have photographs of the last seminar when I came to your university? I said, I thought that I have sent you the photographs. But I don't remember. She said, if you have it on your table, on your computer, can you see the photographs? I said, all right, I'll just find out. And fortunately, I saw that the last year's seminar photographs were there on my screen. So I just said that, what do you want? I thought she's an academician. She must be worried about the paper which she read or the subject which she read. So I said, what do you want to ask? Please ask, these photographs are right in front of me. She said, which sari did I wear in that seminar? I just wanted to check because I am packing my bag for this seminar. So I should not repeat my sari. So that's very interesting, and at least when you wear some good saris, you also expect that somebody should appreciate, somebody should acknowledge. And sometimes when you wear and you know that this is not going the way you wanted it to go, or it's not looking that beautiful the way it was looking in the showroom, and your husband or your counterpart, hey, how do I look? Oh, you are looking awesome. I'm not looking awesome. I know I'm looking pretty bad in this. So that is there, and you are fortunate somebody appreciates. We wear blue, black, brown, yellow. Nobody appreciates. And for the whole day, I am expecting somebody would come and say, sir, you have a nice jacket, you wore a nice shirt, and still there is nobody to appreciate. So you people are lucky that you wear good things and you are being appreciated. Since yesterday we have been listening one major shloka, that is Yatra Naryastu Pujante Ramante Tatra Devata. Where the women is worshipped, the gods live in that place. Unfortunately, we all are in hurry. So we often forget the second part of the shloka. And that has happened everywhere because important quotations are only recognized. Like even Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, there would be hardly 5% who would remember the entire shloka of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It is the 1/4 part of the whole shloka. So the second part of the shloka, which is Yatra Naryastu Pujante Ramantre Tatra Devata, Yatre Tastu Na Pujante Sarvatrastu Phala Kriya. That is more dangerous. Where the women is not worshipped, women is not respected, women is not regarded, everything is disastrous. Everything becomes in vain. Nothing becomes fruitful there. Had we realized the second part of this shloka, we would have always respected and regarded women, because without threatening, there is no love. So one has to threaten. If you do this, otherwise you don't do this, something is going to happen. Even with the God, we know that God is kind and God would always listen to our prayers. But unless there is threatening, we don't listen to God's prayers also. And that is the kind of human philosophy or human psychology. So what I mean to say is that even our ancestors have also warned us to respect women, because the place where women are not respected, women are not regarded, nothing is going to be fruitful. Because, as since yesterday we have been constantly remembering that woman is the creator. She has the power to create. Man does not have power to create. I have often been asked to deliver a lecture for gender sensitization, and there the first and foremost thing I tell to my male students or male participants, then forget about the myth that man and women are equal. Man cannot be equal to woman. Woman has to be superior always. She has always remained superior because only she has the power to create. Man does not have power to create. So, after God, or even above God, women is the most superior power in the earth. And that is why when Murli Dharanji in the morning was saying that even Prime Minister, when he goes to meet his mother would not ask him the questions related to politics or the country or the international relations. She would ask, Khana khaya? Have you taken your meal? Are you taking your sleep properly? And I was remembering my own mother. After being Vice Chancellor of a university for 10 years and Member Secretary for 3 years in this institution, and some days some newspaper clipping comes and there is some news that I have given speech on some subject, and my mother often will ask, Tula kashala bolo na? Why you were called? What do you know about this? Why are you being invited? Then I say, all right, they did not find anybody, so I was the only available person, so that is why they invited. So one day she said, the other day you spoke about dramatics. Today you are speaking about Vedas. Third day you are speaking about science and philosophy. How do you know all these things? Do you really know all these things? No, I say, I do not know anything. But what to do? People invite and I go. I do not know anything. Because for her, I am still a small child. She does not think that I have grown enough to take care of myself. And sometimes she often says that, I mean, why are you going so late? Would you find some vehicle? Have you taken your food? Have you taken some tea or something like that? And so many things she tells about me. So this is the real mother. Because for her, the child always remain a small entity. And when I say mother, I do not say the person who only gives birth. We have been discussing motherhood is different. Being mother is different. And motherhood is a different quality. We have read in our mythology, Bhagavan Shri Krishna had his real mother was Devaki, but he was brought up by Yashoda. So in entire mythology, only Mother Yashoda is often referred and respected and regarded as compared to his biological mother Devaki. Because Devaki only gave birth to Lord Krishna. But it was Mother Yashoda who not only brought up Krishna, but also took care of him, everything in every aspect. So the way Krishna was groomed, the entire credit goes to Yashoda. I do not know my friends from the other countries, maybe knowing this mythological story, but they must have read the famous play by Bertolt Brecht, that is Caucasian Chalk Circle. It also deals with the same situation, with the same problem. There also there is one lady who takes care of a child who happens to be a son of a emperor. Then the queen comes and fights that he is my son, and now I want my son back. And that the lady says, no, I have brought up this child, he's my child. And even the child does not know to whom he has to go. Then finally, it is decided that there is a circle and both the ladies would pull the child, and whosoever takes him would be her child. So the lady who takes care of the child finally leaves. Why? She said, I don't want to trouble or harm my child. You take your child, because I am his real mother. So I'll not ever think of harming my old child. That is the essence of the motherhood. So we have to take care of that thing. In the morning also, some speakers refer to it that even men do have the quality of mother, and man and women both are the equal partners in the society. It's not superiority I'm not talking, but the partners. There has to be a man, there has to be a woman. And places where even Mayaji, when she was referring to her own father, I have also seen families where the mother expired at an early age. The father had, I mean, three sons, and the father used to take care of the house so well that nobody can even imagine that this house does not have a lady. And even it's not only the upkeeping of the house, let me tell you very frankly, it's also the value system which was inculcated in the children. So that father used to say that tomorrow people not say that the children did not behave properly because they did not have a mother. So this is my double responsibility to take care of those aspects of your life. So that is the essence, and that is how we grow. We all know that family values in India has always been very rich, very rich, and very cohesive. We had a small, we had all, we had a very close knit bonding among the relationship. Till very recently, we did not knew the term what cousin means. Now it's not only cousin, but it's real cousin and distant cousins. We do not know the term. Only recently, ever since now, we have also started westernizing ourselves. We have started learning these terms. But when I went to Europe, I also came across a term known as half brother or half sister. In our families, we do not have the term like half brother or half sisters, where the mother or father belongs to different this thing. But what I want to say is that all these terminologies become ineffective if we have the real bonding and real affection amongst ourselves. Sometimes even person working in our own house may not be having any relation to us, but only because she was a lady who brought me up when I was a child, I have to touch her feel like my own mother or a grandmother. That kind of relationship we built in our society, and that gives the essence of togetherness and camaraderie among ourselves. But since we all have discussed in detail about all these mythological aspects and the cultural aspects, my dear sisters and brothers, I would also like to flag a few issues which are worth noticing in the recent era. Uh, like there are families who have children through surrogacies. There are families who have children through IUVs. There are concept of single mother where you don't require a father to have a child. These are different aspects of the society. And we have also to take care of all these things when we discuss about the motherhood. Why I am saying you all this is that these are the terminologies which are fast developing in our society and would be on a very prominent node in coming years. A few days back, I read a news and it was staggering for me that a gay couple from some European country came to India to have a surrogate child because surrogacy is much cheaper in India. I am talking about a gay couple. And if they have a child who is a male child, then there would be 3 male in the house, all having a very different kind of a relationship and do not have the kind of emotional bonding which one needs to become a father or mother. And let us presume that the child continues to be like that for say 10 to 12 years, what would be the status of the society after 10 years? And what would be the status of the relationship? That issue has to be flagged off. With due regards to our physical compulsions and nature's gift, surrogacy has been very prominently coming in the society. But you all are mothers, most of them you are. You know, when you conceive a child, you do not only have the physical relationship with the child. That is an emotional bond. As the child grows, you also grow as a mother. As the child develops in your womb, you also undergo lot of physical and emotional changes. But if a child who has come to your family through surrogacy, and where the mother does not have the kind of emotional bonding for the 9 months, what kind of emotional attachment the lady has with the child who has completed 9 months in some other lady's womb? And what would be the relationship of that child with that lady who had that child for the 9 months? So these are all important questions in our society. When we talk of motherhood, when we talk of mother, today, in 2019, all these questions are supposed to be addressed. So it's not only a very simple equation, it's a very complex equation. I'm happy that at last somebody tried to include father in mother. So we are progressing a little bit. But I am also hopeful that when we talk of mothers, all these issues will also be addressed, because they are the issues which are going to hamper, which are going to hover around our minds in coming years. I would also like to say again and again that it is only the feeling of a mother who takes care of a child with the passion with no other person in the world can take care. I have a very small story. I read it somewhere. I do not know. You must have read it. There was a boy who used to live in, say, USA, came to his mother, said that, "Mother, why don't you come with me to USA? Sell off your property. We all will go to USA." Mother sells off her property, goes with the son to the airport, and the son said, "You wait here, I'll come and then take you inside the airport." And the mother waited and waited for complete 24 hours, and the boy didn't return. Then the guard asked her, "Why are you sitting here?" She said, "My son asked me to sit here." "Who, that blue shirt with a tie?" "Yeah, he had gone to USA by the next flight." That means son only wanted money and not his mother to take back her to US. So mother then went to an old age home and she was continuing her life. But still, out of the money which she was getting through some work which she was rendering in the old age home, she was saving some amount. And when the warden asked, "Auntie, why are you saving this amount? For whom you are sending?" She said, "I am saving it for my son. There may be some day when my son would return and he would be in some kind of a problem, then I need to help him out." So that is the ethos of mother. So we must all think that that kind of ethos, that kind of passion, that kind of emotional bonding a mother has with her son. So that can never be avoided. I am happy that we have an international gathering. People from different countries, mothers, sisters from different countries have come here. We have in these 2 days in detailed discussion, deliberated issues related to motherhood. I am hopeful that in years to come, this would become a major source of inspiration to the society, because one thing I am sure about is that mother and only mother can bring peace and harmony in the society. So this, we, with a lot of hope and expectations, we look forward to uh, this revolution to carry on, this movement to carry on further and become stronger. And next time when we meet, we have at least 25 countries participating in this Global Mother Conference. If I may permit, I'll just render my small poem, which is in Hindi, just to dedicate it to my mother and the mothers of the world. माँ, माँ यानी सिर्फ एक शब्द नहीं होता, एक संस्कृति होती है, एक संस्कार होता है, एक परंपरा और एक पाठशाला भी। ये जाना मैंने बाप बनने के बाद। बात ही जब समझ में आई, जब मैंने देखा 2 पीढ़ियों की माता को। यह भी जाना मैंने कि माँ सिर्फ माँ होती है, वो न अच्छी होती है न बुरी होती है, न गोरी होती है न काली, न मोटी न पतली, न ऊंची न नाटी, वो सिर्फ माँ होती है। दुनिया की सबसे सुंदर, सबसे ममतामयी, सबसे होशियार, सबसे अच्छी वो माँ होती है। वो न बड़ी होती है न छोटी, न अमीर होती है न गरीब, न नामचीन होती है न अनजान, वो तो सिर्फ और सिर्फ माँ होती है। उम्र के इतने साल पार करने के बाद इतना तो जान ही गया हूँ कि माँ से बढ़कर कोई शब्द, कोई उपाधि, कोई विशेषण बना ही नहीं इस दुनिया में। इसलिए माँ से मुबारक, माँ से मुकम्मिल, माँ से मंगल, माँ से उज्जवल दूसरा कोई नहीं है। आपकी और हाँ, आपकी ही तरह मेरी भी माँ है, सबसे प्यारी, सबसे न्यारी, क्योंकि वो मेरी माँ है। थैंक यू।